evil property predictions. We make them, and a lot of them come true. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about one that's come true and another one we see coming.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 525 with myself, Michael BURGIO, Mark Novak. Property predictions, property trends. This topic's pretty close to our heart because it's really what we're trying to do in this show, and a big part of what separates shit agents from good agents to great agents, where some people may think real estate's like the casino and you're paying roulette, you're just picking a number. I know Mark and I see it very differently. There's always actions that create reactions, and then we see trends which equal other stuff as well. And I think especially if you're really wanting to use property as your wealth creation mechanism, you need to go one step further in your education than just, checking the annual growth of an area or checking clearance rates on an area. There are so many trigger points which can affect the trend of the market, which is vital. And that, I know that's one, Mark and I, we always talk about technical stuff as well, but we also like to throw in trends we're seeing, patterns we're seeing, and a lot of people have access to that information. But the key thing in the great agents and the great property people, they can digest that information and basically come up with a conclusion, a prediction on that information, and that helps our clients with their property decisions. It's a simple answer. A question could be, should I sell my property now? And obviously most agents be like, yes, sell it now. But that high level conversation is like, why are you selling? And then going, okay, well, let's see what you'll be buying, but also what are the trends? For example, one that was—
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
So if a client said to me, I've got an apartment I want to sell at the beginning of this year, and they weren't in a rush, they weren't buying anything else, one of the trends that Mark and I saw was a huge gap between the house prices and unit prices. Houses had shot up 30, 40, 50%. So there's always going to be that pressure up. So we looked at it, we said on the show going, it's crazy, the house prices, and there's a lot of people now priced out of houses. They have to go somewhere. So I would have said to that client, well, if you're timing the market, hold on that apartment for about 3 to 9 months, because there's going to be a lot of people who are priced out of houses.
Michael, I'm over here.
Yeah,
I'm over here.
In a sec.
Come on, man. 3 minutes.
Yeah, it gets to the point. Priced out of houses and into apartments. So there's a lot more detail that goes into it. Mark, talk us through what we're seeing now with that trend and how it's just come through.
Look, it's interesting because a lot of these guys are, as you're saying, they're on. You're getting experts, but they're not on the ground. We are on the ground. We are seeing the high volume. We're an office of 50 people. We've got thousands of landlords, thousands of tenants. We're on the ground. But this was a good prediction. So, Burge, the prediction here that we picked was houses and units 6 months ago. And if you listened to this 6 months ago, you would have made a quiet fortune.
Yes. So because we saw like the median price for houses go from 1.1, 1.2 to 1.8, but there was no growth in units. They were actually still down. I remember being on the show and we're like, look at DY's houses up 20%, and we checked apartments and it was down 1.7%. We almost didn't it just didn't feel real.
It's stretched. So it's like all the houses in our area went from, like you said, 1.3 to over 2, and the units just didn't move. And you and I were on the show. You and I are on the show. Hey, Michelle, you and I were on the show going, why the hell haven't units gone up? Why the hell haven't units gone up? there's the stretch. Houses have gone up, units are there, and it's almost like an elastic band. It's actually pulling. The houses have stayed up, and the units are now pulling back and closing that gap. So the units have gone up so much money in 6 to 12 months. It is absolutely ridiculous in our area.
Yeah, well, let me check. I think apartments are up 20% now.
So, like, to give you an idea, guys, it just makes sense. When we looked at this and we were saying, hang on a sec, an old house or a rubbish house or an entry-level house is sitting at 2 to 2.1 now. Why is a premium 3-bedroom unit, which is not far off a house, sitting at 1.2? And within the blink of an eye, we've started seeing these 3 bedrooms trading for 1.8 to 1.9. The gap closed massively.
Yeah, and like when the information's on Channel 9, then it's too old. So it's really looking, if you want to know what's happening in 6 months' time, in a year time, or if like that sort of 3 to 6 month period, you need to know what's going on with the market now. Trends, like financing is a big one, Mark. Like, to put a prediction there, if we saw big changes in financing with lending, then we can sort of have our prediction on where we see that, how that would affect property prices in 6 months' time. So that's why it's always good to stay in contact with an agent, but you need almost a deeper relationship with them so they can get past the typical bullshit, market's good, blah, 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 and actually sort of get in the weaves and have what are they seeing? Are they like we saw a trend for a good solid 7 months of COVID? It was really only owner occupiers in the marketplace. Like, we'll chat as a team, but
still is almost like there's not a lot of investors. It's still a good time for an investor to get in.
Yeah, and then your agent knowing that, then they can, because if you're bringing a property to market and your owner's like, this is good for investors, well, you've got to be as an agent going, we're seeing majority owner occupiers. So instead of putting a shit 3rd room, let's have it a great 2-bedroom, because people are looking for their homes to live in. Yes, that'd be a great investment, but if 90% of the buyers are owner occupiers, well, we're not doing the best thing for you and your property. So that's key stuff.
And newspapers, Michael, you were saying that that's old news.
Well, yeah, when it's in the newspaper, when it's on Channel 9, it's old news. It's the change happened 4 weeks ago, 4 months ago. The opportunity to buy in has happened. Like, look at the unit prices. Someone reporting a great unit market now up 20%. If you're only hearing about it now, you've missed the upshot. Like, it's past. You need to pick this trend 6 months ago where units were actually negative. When the media showed units losing money, that's when you needed to buy. So it almost goes opposite to what people would normally think.
But Burge, we were calling it.
Yes.
We were saying it, we were calling it, we were telling people, we were spreading the word, and it happened.
And that's because
Lisa's saying house prices moved so fast, it outpriced many buyers. So now they're even paying over for apartments to get into the market. That's the trend we're talking about.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, we can all have access to the same info. It's how you digest it. Like 7 months ago when we all had that information, the information was unit prices down, houses going well, let's buy houses was what everyone was saying. We want to buy houses. But what we thought was, hang on, there's been such a great surge in houses, but there's always going to be an effect somewhere else. Now, with all the attention on houses, how do we think that's going to impact units? And mainly by a price point sensitivity, knowing how hard it is to get funding. Like, Mark, it's not someone with a loan of 1.3 can't just get a loan of 2 million. If that was the case, we may not have seen the upshot in apartments, but us knowing how difficult it is for people to get bigger loans, we're like, well, they're going to either not buy or they're going to have to buy something else. And what else are they going to buy? Apartments. So when everyone's talking about houses, we were looking at units, we were advising their great value, and 6 months later, they're up 20%.
Burge, we saw the reciprocal happen as well. Do you remember, like through the GFC, we saw units actually start to go bananas and houses restricted back. Again,
Yeah.
that negative elastic effect. So it's amazing on those property predictions when you talk to your agent. Michael, your haircut today?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
So your mum's getting really good at it, mate.
No, she's good. She's a good woman. She
Yeah,
cooks,
bless her.
does my cleaning, does my hair. There's not much she can't do.
Clothes, everything, ironing.
Everything is perfect. But yeah, it was getting madness. It was getting madness. So but the main point of today is like you need people, in summary, take in as much information as you can from as many sources. And obviously, especially like think of the transactions.
But the sources that have what you want. So don't go to the pub, play the poker machine, and ask the guy next to you if you should buy or sell a property. Go to the guy who owns a lot of property and go an expert in property who owns a lot of property. So even agents aren't experts if they don't own a property. Like seriously, go to someone who's a bit of a mentor or a bit of a guru swami with property investment. Get your advice from them. Don't get it from the guy in the pub.
Try and dig a little deeper with agents and get the trends. Like, what are they saying? Not just, things are up 5%. Why do they think it's up 5%? Like, is there a new school being built? Are they getting so I think try and get a little bit more information because agents you can get a bit more truth behind it there. Like, knowing something's up 10% doesn't mean anything if you don't know why it's up and if it's going to continue going up. So I think try and get trends. But yeah, anything else you want to add on to that, Mark?
I'm 113 kilos, 113.1 on the heaviest I've been in 5 years. Thanks COVID. Yeah, for you piece of shit.
Yeah, me too.
It's good. Wish me luck. I'm going down. At the end of the show, I'm gonna tell everyone my weight, and I want everyone to tell me their weight, and then we're all going to go all out with the joint viewers. We're all going to go on a diet together because we're going to publicise our weight. And when I publicise my weight, I get embarrassed, and then I have to go down.
It's a good thing, and I know I've got to do the same thing. So let me the mouse. Okay, well that's all right. We'll be back tomorrow morning for another show, and thank you everyone for watching.
Have a brilliant one, and it's Thursday. It's almost the end of the week again. How quick are the weeks going? How quick is the year going?
So quick. It's like
the year's almost up. It's bloody crazy. So, guys, love you. See ya. Thanks, Burge, for the show.